Okay, it says it's live streaming. Let me check. Yes, I see you guys on LinkedIn. Okay, let me say I'm live now, guys. Okay, hello everybody. This is Sudha Jamthe, and this is Sudha Live. I'm very happy to meet you all. It's been a very long week for me because I've been doing variety of different things. I try to kind of align my activities to come together, and this has also been a very exciting week with lot of things happening in the tech world. So can't wait to talk to you about all of it. So the first thing was I saw an autonomous vehicle, a Ford, and was very happy. And then I thought about it. I thought Ford had disbanded their AV unit, and so somebody bought it. Let me get you a picture of that. Give me a minute, and you'll be surprised because it's slightly different from the Ford as I've seen it. Let me find the picture. Not that one, not that one, not that. Yes. So are you seeing this? So this was my driving companion when I was coming back from Menlo College. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my Menlo College visit. But it said Ford on it. It is a Ford vehicle. Some startup must have bought it because I'm very sure the LiDAR has been upgraded, and even companies keep upgrading the LiDAR. And look at this in the back. I mean, I think this is kind of like an attachment. It looks a little hideous to me. Cameras and I don't know if they have like a processing unit in the back side. That's why they have put the cameras right here. Even in a neuro, they have it like this. So anyway, I don't know if you've seen this vehicle. I saw this near Stanford on 280. So it's possible there's a startup doing something, somebody's doing something. I would like to know. I don't know if it is me or I'm seeing, more autonomous vehicles. There's Neuro driving around Castro Street in Mountain View. There's a bunch of them, and in Palo Alto, Mountain View area, like no-name ones from startups. That's always there, and there's always the Waymo. But there used to be the Toyota one, the Ford one. There used to be 30 of these. And they're all gone. So again, I'm seeing a bunch of them. So I want to see if there's like a buzzing activity coming back up. I went and did the Waymo drive. I did the Waymo ride as a taxi ride in San Francisco and shared it with you guys. So I was like, maybe I'm kind of looking more for this all the time. Don't know. So I like to check it out. And this coming week is Thanksgiving week here in US, and so we won't have Sudha live, and I would not be doing a weekly Wednesday. The following week, 27th, is when we'll come back online. And on the 27th, I'm going to meet a visiting group coming from abroad, from Riyadh, I believe, and going to talk to them about the future of autonomous vehicles. So I've been talking about future of autonomous vehicles. In fact, I wrote this book 2030, A Driverless World, about coming from there. And just recently I found one of my notes. I tend to write a lot on my notes. Every night I write. That's kind of my writing habit. Helps me synthesize my thinking for the day. And what happened is I found my motivation of why I wrote the 2030, the driverless world. So it's not the 2030 driverless world is a business book. And so it's saying, okay, this is what the world is full of driverless cars, or lots of driverless cars in 2030. And what are you doing in 2017 when I wrote the book? But in reality, what happened was I was at a gas station waiting to fill gas. And the one side of the car will have the opening for the gas, and it could be left or right. There is no standard. And so I was in a line, and then I realized, oh, my car gas opening is on the other side, so I need to go to a different line. So I took a, moved out inside the gas station, right? And there's a lot of people coming in and out. It was very crowded. In all direction, people are trying to get to the gas station, so they can fill on, on both sides like that. The self-service fill, and so this guy started yelling at me because he thought I was cutting him to go into a different line. And I was like upset. And I was just thinking how sad it is. We're filling gas, which is bad for the environment. We are driving our own cars and stuck in traffic. On top of that, there is road rage, there is traffic, the concept of traffic. All of that should go away with the self-driving cars. So that was my motivation. So I kind of wrote like a social narrative about it, and as if I'm coming from 2030 to look at 2017 and said, what are you guys doing? And then I realized, I was like, okay, there is a making of a book in here. So I ended up writing. So usually Christmas time is when I end up writing stuff that becomes my book. So I don't know what I'll do this year. Okay. So the other thing is, because I'm going to be meeting, and this is a younger group that I'm meeting. This is not a EMBA group. I've been meeting a bunch of EMBA groups. And so I would like to show them a self-driving car. I mean, it's not enough if I give them a talk about the future and all that stuff about the AVs. But so first, if anybody's seen the Ford car, I want you to ping me. If anybody has updates on what is happening in the AV space, again, it's not building up a business buzz, but what is happening, I would like to know. What else? Also, on the 27th, when I'm going to talk to them, I said, you cannot come to Silicon Valley and listen to me, just talk about autonomous vehicle and go away. The last time I talked to somebody about autonomous vehicle, it was in San Francisco, and right when we stepped out, there was the Waymo coming in and out. And at that time, Cruise was also doing their rounds, and Cruise has, the unmanned version, the real driverless version has been stopped after an accident. Very unfortunate. And so at least they saw they get to see the Waymo vehicle, right? So I wanted them to see the autonomous vehicle. So the easiest thing is, if they are like me, they could hang around with me. Or my friend David Kerrigan is the only one who shares this craziness to just go sit and watch autonomous vehicles. And whenever he visits here from Ireland, we do that. We do AV watching, like bird watching. And so I'm looking to see whether I can find somebody in Waymo or Neuro who can actually, like, take us around for real, because I can see a lot of Neuro cars right on Castro. I can get this group actually parked, or along some coffee shop on Castro Street, and that'll be fine because it's uh, walking sidewalk, and a lot of visitors and a lot of people are walking all the time. But and they will not start chasing and running like I do sometimes with the self-driving car. But I don't know, on Waymo, I think they have a shed from where the what is it called, the parking lot for the self-driving cars. It's a closed parking lot, and then from there they come in and out. So you sit there, and you can just see them come, multiple self-driving cars only come in and out of the lot. It's a beautiful sight. That one, I believe it's in Palo Alto. So I could take them there, but that's not conducive to take a big group to sit and car watch. And so if you know somebody in Waymo, or any of you who has worked with me, who can lead me to somebody who would be kind enough to, even show us the car. You don't need to give us a ride. But I need to entertain a big group, and I want them to get excited about the real tech and go do something with it. And so I'll appreciate that. Okay. So who else? Let me see who else is here live. Uh, I see some notification. So the way the LinkedIn thing works is, okay, Shelby. Hi, Shelby. How are you? So it always shows me people, but the number of people, unless you add a comment, it's not going to tell me who it is. So thank you for your comment. Thank you for joining. I appreciate this. I see a lot of people. I see numbers. Oh, numbers going up. Who's this new person who joined? So please say hello. Please like. I think you have the option to send like stars and hearts and whatnot also. But I would like to see real people. So let's make this a real conversation. I'm here on a Friday evening, and I'm talking to you, and I want to be talking to you. I don't want to be talking to myself. I don't want to be looking at myself on the screen. That's not fun. Okay, so one of the other things, let me go back to this week's excitement. So first, I'm hoping that somebody will, get me a Waymo contact to, show these visiting high schoolers a real AV and what it is. And I don't need an inside tour and whatnot. I believe they are actually going to go to the Google Visitor Center, because Google has opened an official visitor center. People are just visiting Google campus on the outside and then taking pictures in front of the android person, and they have like a dinosaur, big skeleton of a dinosaur in the campus. It's an open campus, and so people have been doing that as a tour anyway, right? And tourists have been taking pictures. So Apple has a visitor center, so it's just purely just like a bigger version of an Apple store. They don't have anything that is real Apple that you can see, but it's still an exciting place, a coffee shop and everything. And Google has one, so this group is going there. So if there's anybody in Waymo who would like to come and say hello and show us a real Waymo, or let us into the parking lot or something, we'll appreciate that. So that is one. And then another thing related to the car world that happened is, um, Tesla has cameras inside the car and they're watching. And so as soon as I found that Tesla has put a camera in there, this was a couple years back, and they said you can turn the camera on or off and it's in software control. Uh, I did a paper with Yashashwani and Suresh Lokaya saying how they are going to look at the people in the car, and then they are going to decide, this is not just for Tesla, but anybody who puts a camera in the car watching people inside. I'm not even talking about the privacy violation, assuming people give permission, right? When they're looking at it, they're recognizing faces equally, because facial recognition is known to be biased. The more darker your skin gets, that it doesn't recognize you well. And inside the car, if the car does not recognize the person as a person with a high confidence, and does not, and if it has to give control in a disengagement, what will happen? It's not just that it is against a person of color, it doesn't recognize that person, is going to crash, the car is going to crash, right? And it's going to hurt everybody. And so that got us thinking, and we did a paper, and we came up with something called a drowsiness factor. And we said, how do they recognize drowsiness? So that means somebody is yawning, their eyes are like almost closing off. And so we came up with a bunch of that, and we said if somebody is sneezing, they might think that their eyes are closed and they are sleeping. And again, based on the profile of the person, for a rich diversity of faces and races and all that stuff, we created a data set. And we did some runs and found out the top facial recognition APIs out there. How do they recognize this? And we published a paper on that. This is on my Google Scholar if you want to go find that. And this week, why am I telling you about that? Because Tesla has come up with this driver drowsiness. Let me see. It's an article basically saying that they are launching this driver drowsiness feature. And they're going to check, and they will, they will not give control to FSD, right? That is what the big holy grail is, that the Tesla people are crazy about. But the fact that they're monitoring you, they're judging you and checking whether you're live or not, means that it, oh my god. Okay. Okay, thank you for whoever did the like. Whenever I did I have to redo the LinkedIn to the notification as soon as I see a post from somebody, and it got it. The audio was turned on, so I had to listen to myself for a minute. So and then it gives control, and so I want to see, this is like a closed box, right? I mean, I'm fascinated by autonomous vehicles, you know that, but and I love cars in general, but I like that there is the AI, and this AI is a black box. So if it's a black box and we don't know how they are judging, they're just going to give control to some people, not give control. It's going to annoy a bunch of people. And so do you remember this AI Bill of Rights, that you need to know whether you're monitored and whether the AI is making a false positive or false negative on you and all that? That doesn't exist in our law yet. So if I'm in a self-driving car and it doesn't recognize me and it doesn't give control, it's just going to annoy me. Nobody's going to know. That's the thing, that when you're talking about AI, people don't realize that it is always predicting, and my experience is different from your experience. Every single one of us, when we interact with AI, it is each time taking our input, our faces, our fingerprint, our whatever it is doing, right? And uh, I'm talking biometrics in this case, but it could be, my voice, my style of talking, tone of talking, the choice of words that I'm using in language. All of that is going to be judged by an AI all the time, and it's not transparent. So there's this whole field of explainability, which is Yashashwini's field, and I'm hoping that it would evolve. Meanwhile, this is a black box. So I found a very interesting uh, cartoon from a New Yorker. Let me bring that up, guys. It's very funny because it shows about how AI does training. So let me find that. I'm going to share this and give you a second to see whether you find that funny before I go explaining why I find that funny. Okay. So look at this. So here somebody wants to write and is stuck and has crumpled a bunch of paper because they didn't like whatever they wrote, and the AI is now going to write. So the AI comes and says, "Yeah, let me help you. Let me help you. Let me write." Sorry, guys. And then AI says, "Okay, let me go off do something." And what did it do? It didn't write. It took the crumpled paper as the training and said, "I have taken all the papers that you have," and created a big pile of crumpled paper. So that is what we are at in terms of training AI and letting it do. Sorry about that. So that's where we are at, where we think we are training AI on something. It could be getting trained on something else. And so we need the right people in the room who can actually talk to it, think about all the different perspectives. So it was fun week for me because I ended up talking to Menlo College, and I have to bring up that group picture because it was a group of people from Professor Tera Sahib's class, and we talked about Gen AI. So here it is, and here is Sonia Tera Sahib. Thank you, Sonia. And so one of the discussions was that we need a variety of different people, and I think this class is called Think Like a Data Scientist. So I had very different content from my usual content because if you are if you're a data scientist and you want to think like a data scientist, I always say, how does the technologist think about things and how the business person thinks about things? I always talk about this for machine learning, and I recently did one for chatbots and like, but this was about if you're a data scientist and you're looking at AI. Now how do you think about this, that not just that, okay, I'm going to improve this feature and that feature, but think about this with a more ethical lens. So I spoke about AVs and AI, but from a fairness and explainability thinking, to actually go build things in a more diverse holistic way. It was a fun class. I love that. This morning, it's Friday for me, and this morning I had a session with Barcelona Technology School, which is my first course for this school year for them. Because they start off in October and then it goes till June. And I met the Masters in UX Design class, very small group because they've decided to put that in two different groups. I'll be meeting another Masters in UX group later in the new year, and then I'll do like a series of 3 courses for them. So this one I did only one master class. And Yashashwini, thank you for joining me and uh, teaching them about fairness and explainability. And the thing was, it was very refreshing for me because I'm always thinking, we want everybody to come together to build AI, and my world is full of product managers and data owners and business people and engineers, of course. And so I have this AIX framework on how you actually think about building AI personality and doing UX for AI. And I talked about that, but I had to give it in the context of AI. And what is interesting is we live in a time where developers have engineering tools and they have technologies and new APIs coming to them all the time, right? And then business people have their data and said, okay, now I want to solve a business problem. What do you got for me, right? And that's how the conversation goes, and then the tech waves keeps going, right? And we get new innovations happen. And they're productized with product managers and the like, right? But with designers, they have Apple giving them tools, they have Adobe giving them tools, and they are in their world, right? And so with AI, I have had UX designer students who have adopted AI and done interesting projects and the like in the past. But the average UX designer is a creative, and they are intimidated by the data and the tech unless a nice tool is given to them. And so Adobe has been adding a bunch of generative AI stuff in Photoshop and the like, right? uh, so now with generative AI, saying AI is actually generating music and writing creative poetry and whatnot, right? When you write poetry, it is, it's a human feeling, and you're expressing that with words. And then it is interpretable because somebody reads it, and then they get a it has a different interpretation for them based on their memories and their lived truth, right? So when you say, oh, the AI is generating art, I have a problem with that, because I think it's very primitive stages. It is like somebody who's not learning a new language, like I'm learning new languages, and I like to show off few sentences with people who understand the language. It's like that. It's like a child, right? But it does not replace the real creatives, and technologists have to think about how do you take this power of this technology, which is able to create. So it should not be like, okay, it cannot create, shut it off, right? It has to create, it can create. Now what do we do with it? How do we make this a human augmenting experience, right? Is it like enhancing human experience instead of replacing human experience? And so I saw one that I shared with my class this morning. I didn't get to show them the video, so I'm going to show you the video. This is from With Google. So With Google is the AI experiment side of Google. And I love that because I've shown. Oh, wait, Lupe, I'm going to bring you back. I need to share my screen before I bring you back. Okay. So, and the funny thing is, you know what I did just now? I had not shared my YouTube window, and I ended up playing that, right? Because I was trying to go check that window, and it started playing, and I talked to the person on the video. And this is one of those behavior we had. We talked to robots, we talked to I talked to my to my Roomba. We tend to interact with AI and anthropomorphize it, right? So that is kind of part of the design process that can be channelized, right? So that people get the right experience and the trust with the product, instead of being manipulated, or it random being genderized or humanized in some way. So that's what I kind of demonstrated with our thinking. So this is a product from the Google. With Google, the AI experiment side of Google. They don't collect data. It's not the real Google where you have to sign into Google or anything. So I've done this dog versus mop exercise and teachable machine and all with Google in my LinkedIn learning class. Also, you must have seen it. So it's the same set of people. Now, what they've done is LLMs are large language models trained with large dictionary of words, and in the brain of the LLM it is connecting association of words with other words, so it creates a context. So it keeps a memory of a set of words, or a string of words, or a string of documents, and within that it says, okay, this word is associated with other words, and it creates a matrix of called embeddings and vectorization. That's how it's able to do recall and understand context. So this is all the stuff we've been talking, but it's tech. If you think about it, what we're talking is tech. And so the power, and so then we jump straight from there and says AI writes your resume. In fact, this week I had an AI pop up on me on LinkedIn when I was, and I tend to collect jobs for sharing with you guys here. And then I put all of these jobs and links that I'm sharing on my Jamthe newsletter that goes out on Monday. So I was looking at one such job, and this popped up and said, Write with AI is a new product from LinkedIn, and it is embedded inside the LinkedIn message. I think it's not in a regular message, it showed up in an email for me. And so it says, it was kind of patronizing that it is very hard to write cold messages to people, and can I help you? And it was giving me some canned options on how to write. And so we have some ways to go. And the AI, the way, if the AI is helping me, I am not at all intimidated by talking to any stranger. I love talking to strangers, and I can send cold messages. Thank you. But if a person is truly intimidated, if that is your customer and they are intimidated, do not call them out saying you are intimidated. Oh, poor thing. Let me help you. They are not going to take your help. So I actually think that's a good tool, good application of AI, a good use case of AI. It needs designers to come and design with empathy. That's my personal take on it. Especially, I think, we think of diversity in tech and bringing people in and saying, are you of this race, and women and gender and all those things, we age and all that, right? We try to add that in the diversity bucket. And one of the big things that divides the world into, half and half, is an introvert and extrovert. And I am an extrovert, but I like to be very respectful to the other half of people who are brilliant, brainy people who happen to be my friends. And so, coming back, it is about designing with customer empathy. And so that popped up on me. That was one AI. Write with AI was the LinkedIn thing, and it's a cool tool. I encourage it to iterate, and hopefully it will help people. The second thing is, in WhatsApp, there is a create option for stickers that popped up. Played with it. It's okay. Uh, but the new one that popped up on me is, it's offering to write. And it says here, do you want to, and it is asking for lots of permission from Facebook, Meta AI, and I just said no. So I didn't get to try it. But it was saying that in a group, in a WhatsApp group, it will give you suggestions and ideas on things you can do, or things you can suggest. And I thought that was pretty dumb. That's all. That's just me. And people are connecting on WhatsApp because they have a social fabric with other people who they want to be chatting. They're going to chat when they want to chat, when the other person is receptive. Or you've added all these features of muting and talking asynchronously across time zones, or you're talking with certain people at a high frequency, or calling your mom, and all those things, right? That's all good features. Now, if you want to bring AI, and it is going to listen to our chats, and you're saying it is not storing the chat, it's only the AI that is being trained by the chat, but it is not, your actual chat content is not watched by a human. Is there a disclaimer? But it's giving lame things. So I always tell my business people, my product students, my design students, anybody, you always start with thinking about the business problem or a social problem. But who is the customer? Empathize with them. What is the problem? Can you solve it? There are different ways of solving it. And then go and say, is AI going to be the answer? In this case, they have an AI that can build a chatbot. So there's a lot of chatbots and summarizations that's up on our face everywhere. And I think I'm kind of getting maxed out on that. I want those people who have the capability to build this to do something more, and to think about the situations. It might doesn't have to be an exotic huge product, but it has to be something that solves a real problem. In the world of LinkedIn, maybe writing cold messages is a problem for some people. Just do that with customer empathy. Test it with real people who want this, care about this, and have the right messaging, and do some kind of, and they must be doing A/B testing. I'm just saying that this is my feedback. And then 50% of people don't want, like people like me, don't want this thing to pop up and say, let me write cold messages for you. How are you going to separate that out? and you have mastered it, and tech has mastered it, where you say this is a first time customer, this is a repeat customer, and this is a different persona of customer, this is a customer who has churned and we're bringing them back. And so you have created different swim lanes for the UI for the person, as long as you know what is the UX, why are they coming, what are you giving them, right? So I think we need to bring that into this world of building chatbots. So that is what I was teaching my UX designer students. Hopefully, they will come and do some amazing chatbots and applications of Gen AI, which is going to be much more seamless and real and authentic. That's my hope. And meanwhile, I'll just share what the new stuff that's come from our friends here in tech, because there's been a bunch of different activities. I was going to show you this YouTube video. Okay, let me go share my screen. So this is a product from Google. I was talking to you about how LLM works, and it is all about words. And then I told you about the pop-up chat API, chat AI that popped up on me. So coming back to our discussion on generative AI and words. So basically, generative AI has in its brain organization of language connected as bundle of words, right? And so now it can help us write by sentence completion. What does that mean? It is thinking of words as, okay, this is the word, we are finding synonyms of word or words that sound similar to it when it writes poetry and the like. So what this with Google AI experiment team has done is said, rap is full of words, and how if if it helps a rapper, how would that be? So that is the video I'm going to show you. Okay, let me share. Here we go. Okay. I hope you're able to hear me, guys. I want you to hear me. If you're not able to hear the sound, this is completely wasted. So please, please, please tell me if you're able to hear sound.
My name is Waslu Jaco, aka Lupe Fiasco. I'm a rapper, professor, a lover and friend of words. I'm a data gathering machine. Rap is born out of technology. Rap wouldn't exist if it wasn't for these technological advancements. DJing, for example, in a direct drive, turntables, so you're able to be very accurate with break beats and stuff like that. Microphones, recording studios, now you're able to lay more ideas. You only had one track at one point, now you got 4, right? Now you got 8, now you got 16, now it's endless. On top of here's all these special effects that you could do now. Here's all these different sounds that are generated through technology, like the 808. 808 is a lot of science and a lot of math and a lot of physics to create that sound that rap takes as its own and like, 808, that's rap. Boom. What's next? Artificial intelligence, large language models, rap's optimal for it.
So you can click right here, and everything in this table is basically...
So I've been working with Google and the Palm API on a large language model powered set of tools that specifically focus on the writing process of creating raps.
So initially, we thought that maybe Lupe would want an AI system to write lyrics for him, verses and raps, but it turns out that he didn't want that at all. What he wanted was a tool that helped him explore the universe of possibilities that can arise from any given word or phrase or concept. In the beginning of our session, we worked with Lupe to sort of extract some of these techniques that he has been developing over the course of 2 decades of writing. One of the things that Lupe will do is he'll take a word and explode it into all these different phonetic possibilities.
It doesn't have to be anything like super exotic. It could just be like expressway. You're like expressway. And then it starts to just go through the machinery, parsing. How many syllables are in there? How much spin is on way? There's a lot of connotation with way. There's way, W-A-Y, way, W-E-I, which is referencing like Wu Wei, Chinese philosophy about just being, W-E-I-G-H, way, like curds and whey. So now you got this whole dairy thing that's happening, way. Like that's way out, man. And that's just with that N, that suffix. We haven't gotten to express. Expressway is a road. Then there's like expressing yourself. Espresso, express, like we exclude the newspaper. You got your ex, then it's like an ex-girlfriend, an ex da-da-da-da. And then it goes fling. And that's just me driving. right? Driving down the expressway.
What we did is we assembled a data set of all of these different examples of these word explosions. What MakerSuite makes it really easy to do is go into the example data, add things, remove things, change things around until you get exactly what you're looking for. The result of that is this bite-sized AI tool that can take in any word as input, explode it into all these different possibilities in the same way that Lupe does. And that's just one tool. We built 9 others as well.
It's called text effects. These tools, they generate similes, they create acronyms, they parse words. It's an entire suite of different kind of possibilities dealing with text and language. I know I want to say held up to the lips of a marauder, but I want to do explode with marauder. Mary Water, yeah, my raider, more rudder. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. So we'll do that. Its real goal was to introduce you to working with language in ways that you probably wouldn't have thought about. Yeah. All right, cool. A glass of water held up to the lips of a marauder, dry and flaky, looking like they haven't had a sip in days. Different stage. The joy is in the work. The joy is in the struggle. I was more rudderless than a ship without a captain adrift on the ocean of life, no destination in sight. That's your racing and kite. Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to do was not to remove the rapper from the process, but to keep the rapper in the process in a more empowered and more informed way. Let me let Unexpect kind of figure out what it needs to be. A glass of water that's filled with live goldfish. Yeah, we'll do that. A glass of water with a goldfish inside. Used to swimming in the river, this a whole different vibe. If I hit some type of wall, don't knock the wall down. Pick me up a little bit so I can climb over the top.
Okay, this is the beautiful statement I thought about about AI augmenting humans with their creative, especially the creative humans, is don't knock the wall down for me. Lift me up so that I can cross the wall. I just thought that was very beautiful. It was very, I mean, of course, he's a creative person and a rapper. You know, he's called a data machine of words, so he puts that very elegantly. But that summarizes it, that AI is here to augment our intelligence. So we keep hearing about it's replacing jobs, but then the creative jobs, or we can be kind and we can do all these things that AI cannot. What does that mean? And so I thought this particular text FX actually does a good job of helping us understand what this large language models in their brain can process language actually means. I just hope that this will go past English to a lot more other languages, and then we'll figure out a way to capture the nuances of different cultures that is embedded in language. And then there was one more announcement from Google. I've not played with this guy, so I'm not qualified enough to tell you about this. But what I realized is I'm going offline next week, and so I don't want to miss out on sharing something that is in this space. So I'm going to show you this as a video from DeepMind, and it is showing me some kind of funky ads by the side that I'm not liking at all, guys. I'm see, by calling that out, I'm calling attention to that. Okay, so before I share that, can somebody just confirm you're actually seeing the sound works? Sound works, please, 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 please tell me sound works. Okay, are you guys? Oh, hi, Filippo. Good to see you. I didn't realize you were here. So, are you able to hear the sound when I share the window? Can somebody just add a comment on that? I would appreciate that. Uh, because I'm going to show another video and I want to make sure the sound works. Okay, so let me go back. This is the new one from Google and DeepMind, and it is also related to music. Okay, what did I do? What did I do? I lost my window. Yes, it's here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that's it. So you can go find out what that is and play with it. And then the next time we meet, maybe we'll have a chat about that. So let me go back to the things that I wanted to share with you guys, because there's a couple other things and I want to wrap up. It's a Friday evening. So the driver drowsiness thing that I was telling you, that we had done a research and I published a paper on that, is because Tesla came up with that. And then there is one announcement from Amazon, which was interesting for me personally, because Amazon had launched something called Astro Robot and said it's a tiny little robot that is indoors inside your house. It's going to roam around and find out who is in the house and what time do they move around, where in the house, and get all the data. So it's going to keep you safe in the house. So if an intruder shows up, it says this time and this location, and typically people don't come to drink water from the fridge, and it will beep or something. It was kind of a very lame use case. And this was an expensive robot, and it was invite only, sold to few people. And then I thought it had gone away, so I used to make that an example of uh, an AI product looking for a problem to solve. And in my UX design class, I had actually shown that in the past. And there used to be this other robot called Nightscope, which is like a big Dali looking thing, tall one. And I have shared that here with you guys before, because it roams around our mall here in San Jose, in Westfield Mall, and it is also it is sold as a security robot right from the start. So Nightscope, the story about Nightscope is that it was originally tested in Stanford Mall many years back, many years pre-COVID, and it almost ran over a child because it was not expecting people to be that tiny. And so the mom saved the child, but they basically said, no, 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 we love children and we will improve it. And so why I'm telling you that story is because the Nightscope is sold to watch the periphery of Google and Juniper networks and big tech companies here, and it roams around our mall for mall security. So I used to use that as an example on, okay, it's a security robot for the mall. Who is the stakeholder? What kind of applications can it solve for? It wasn't obvious. They actually make a red version and a white version during Christmas time. It roams around. And the story with me was I like to hug robots. And I ended up getting closer to this one to take a selfie. And there was a little boy who went and poked the robot just before me. It was fine because uh, it has been trained that people can be little and let them be. And so when I went and tried to hug it and take a selfie, it started screaming at me. So I've actually shared this in the past. So I used to take this night scope as an example on, okay, it's a small security and they've sold it to the mall has paid for it, and it is watching people. Is it profiling people? What is it doing? There is no explainability, there is no communication, there is no UX to it. So I usually do this as an exercise with my UX design class in groups, and they come with 5 or 6 different applications on what kind of it can prevent mall theft. It can drive around, zoom around with people into the parking lot, and all kinds of application use cases. And then they build the UX, applying the AX framework for me. And why am I saying that now? Because I don't miss the Nightscope yet. It'll be there at Christmas time if we go to the mall. But Astro Robot has found a new application. So Amazon is launching Astro Robot, saying now it will do what Nightscope is doing, and watch the periphery of stores. You have like wall security, mall security, or security cameras watching uh, buildings and stores. So the lesson here is not just an announcement, here is Astro Robot, go buy it. Please, that's not what I'm talking about. But if you're thinking about this, as obviously they pivoted, they did not know why they were building this robot or who is going to buy it. Now they've come up with a use case that has been proven by Netscape. So that's great. But the interesting thing is their channel is merchants. So they are saying this is going to be for merchants, right? For stores. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I had a student of mine in one of my early IoT classes was very fascinated about data from cameras in front of stores and said, can we find the foot traffic? Can you find what is the peak hour when people come? Can and they were not he was not even thinking of profiling people. He was just thinking about data and how often people come and go. And there was a movement with IoT cameras to do that, and it is done in a couple other places, not in US that I'm aware of, and to understand the traffic pattern for stores, right? And so now what has happened is Amazon actually is in the e-commerce business, and there are companies who are doing offline to online, who are Amazon's competition. Amazon came up with Ring, which is at bought Ring, and then they were doing it for evil things like sell it to the cops to go and profile and monitor people, and they paid $1 billion and they have those cameras. Now they've actually built this robot, and they're selling it to the merchants to watch the store. So there is potential for them to not just be a security for the store. If I was buying a camera driven robot for my store, I would not buy it from Amazon, because Amazon can now monitor data. Are they just monitoring for intruders and sending alarm, or what kind of data are they collecting? Are they collecting who's coming to the store and what is the profile of people are coming, what time of the day are they coming, that kind of thing. And David Kerrigan had showed this earlier in my class, that there are cameras which just watch the feet of people walking into store, and by looking at the kind of shoes they are wearing and doing computer vision, they will actually segment users by gender, age, and all kinds of things, and then try to do something more about the experience inside the store. So there's a lot of possibility with data. I go back to that as my sweet spot. So I just want you to think about this. So when I hear a news announcement, I'm not just saying, oh, another tech company, another tech product. I'm always thinking, what have my students been doing in this space? What have I taught them? And here is a lesson that ties back to it. So I want you to think about this, because first of all, data is very powerful, and you can think about different applications that can come whenever you see any announcement. The other things is there could be a gap of, obviously, if you're thinking about ethics and security violation and all those things, like privacy violations, then there is something here. But also, I'm sure there will be fine print on signing off from the merchants. But what about the people who are coming to stores, if they are being monitored by these cameras, right? I go for a walk, and then they have this ring. It says video and audio surveillance is this big poster that is put outside, like in the gardens outside ring, and I think it's some kind of disclaimer, right, that you have to tell people that you're monitoring them by law. So they're like, okay, we told you. And then if you still cross the footpath, that's on you. So when I'm crossing the footpath of many people who have ring cameras, essentially I'm in there, and it could profile me. It could see what time I cross this road or this house and all those things, right? But it's still a public footpath I'm crossing, so I can't complain. And I don't know the distance to which this can capture. And once I enter somebody's property, maybe that's where this surveillance thing kicks in. I don't know whether the camera actually like stops watching only at that line, because my home camera can actually see out into the road, not all the way into the footpath. I cannot find out who is going, but I can see whether a person is going or whether a person is going with a dog. And I'm not doing facial recognition with that, and I'm not got a ring camera which has different evil intentions. So I just want you to think about that, because I was talking about this whole GDPR, right to be forgotten, and privacy by design, and that kind of concept. I always keep teaching these things. I want you to think about this. How would you do this if you were the PM? So the easiest way, if you're trying to get into any of these new field and career pivoting, the easiest way is to think about, if I was the product manager for this. I did that when I got into IoT. I would look at every single product and I would say, if I am the product manager for this, how would I design this? And what have they done? Why have they given this feature? Because they're smart people who are thinking and designing these things. What is the reasoning behind this kind of feature and that kind of feature, and how would I do that, and how would I change that, and how would I build a product line out of this, and how would I drive the product strategy. And it's a very good thinking process, and I write these things. And so you can do whatever you want. If you want to write just for yourself, you want to put it out there, you want to do a video, you want to just write a wireframe and a spec, whatever it is, right? It's a very good exercise for you with every new product. That I've shown you two Google products, one on the LLM wrapper side and one is a music product. I'm talking about this uh, Astro Robot from Amazon. I'm talking about this uh, driver drowsiness monitoring thing, which I don't like. Uh, and they call it NAG, that feature of, are they going to remind you that you need to be awake? And this is not, and this is marketed like Tesla has come with something revolutionary. And 3 years back, I wrote this paper. And this drowsiness watching feature is available in regular cars. It's not a new feature only in a Tesla car, but it's there. But whatever it is, they call it a nag. They wake you up. Like, a lot of cars say check whether you're drowsy and they don't want you to drive. It's for your own safety. That's a good thing. But they call it a nag factor. And they said they're going to turn on the nag, or they are giving you control not to turn off the nag. And it was kind of, very interesting the way this was discussed. So, I've told you about these new announcements, and then I am getting ready. It's the end of the year, so I'm getting ready to go to New Orleans to Global South in AI. So last week I told you that there were 24 accepted papers. Our Parya Sarin has put in a beautiful poster listing all these are the program chairs. That's us. Out of this, me and Susanna actually do a poster every year. Priya is going to do a summary poster about what we've learned from our call by bringing researchers from Global South languages to the call, and what we learned from it, what kind of languages got accepted, and what's the new change in that. So she's going to do a poster on that. I don't even know, Yashashwini has like too many posters, but she's coming and she's got a couple going. And then we have a variety of different posters. And Chris actually was one of our judges when we did the blind peer review last year, and he submitted a poster this year. And so we have a lot of different things going on. This person, Sundara Pandian, I think his name. Let me double check that. Yeah, Sundara Paripuran. Sundara Paripuran Narayanan. That's his full name. So he actually is a known researcher in the AI ethics world. He was actually one of my fellow grantee from Notre Dame AI ethics lab. We did things. We were part of the same community. We didn't work together. So there's a lot of interesting thing. Here I see one of my students. I always get very excited. Tapasya wanted. Is my student from Stanford AI class. She wanted to get into research, followed up, and here she submitted a poster that got an abstract that got accepted. So I'm very proud of her. So we'll see what is coming. So very soon I will be sharing information of how to tune in if you are going to join on Zoom, because New Rips is allowing us to, they're giving their own Zoom where you can watch live. This is on December 11th. The poster sessions will be in the afternoon. We also have a workshop in the morning. And as part of it, if you are in New Rips, we would love for you to come to our workshop. So we're going to have an Eventbrite link where you can sign up. So I'll be sharing all that very soon in the newsletter and in the coming weeks. But I just wanted to congratulate the authors. It was amazing, especially for people who are new to this, right? Who are not yet in the world of AI research, is what we are doing to bring diversity and inclusion for various languages into this world. I have few other announcements. Cecilia Tam, I actually congratulated her last week, I think, and she is a true futurist and a designer, and she's starting a PhD saying, we need the world of business, technology, and creatives to come together, and how we can come together is her PhD that she's starting. And she's a force. She's amazing. So congratulations to Cecilia. And then there is event on November 30 called Confronting Complexity Through Design, Ambition of Change. So just when I'm talking and teaching this UX designers, then I see a bunch of I mean, obviously I'm connected to designers, and Cecilia Tam is in Barcelona, so I know her a while back. I think we met when she was here at Singularity University, and I was one of her mentors. So she is on this panel about confronting complexity through design. So the interesting pattern I see is the creatives were left on the side, waiting for a tool, and now because of generative AI, they are in the forefront. So it's calling for their leadership to say, how do you bring your craft, your tool, your language, your approach to the world to make technology, to shape it, to make it work for you. So that's my summary of why I'm saying all this about the designers and stuff. Um, what else have I got? Oh, Joy Biolomini, who did the Algorithmic Justice League, is her nonprofit, and she is a force who changed the whole policy and regulation on facial recognition. And it's not just facial recognition, that's how she started, but the Coded Bias is her movie, right? Movie about her that I show to all my classes. So she has a new book that we have seen. I think I've shared it somewhere. um, Let me see. So she has a book called Unmasking AI, My Mission to Protect What is Human in the World of Machines. And she's an MIT researcher who made this a calling because she found that AI was biased. And Joy is going to be in Museum of Science in Boston. She's doing her business tour. So those of you who are in Boston, who can go to this, I would go. I love Boston and I love Joy, so it's a great combination. But it's Thanksgiving, Monday after Thanksgiving, and that's when I'm going to talk to the visiting group about autonomous vehicles. But on that Monday, the 27th, at Museum of Science, Joy is going to be there, and she's going to do a book signing. So, and I believe that the Harvard Coop and a couple other local bookstores all have a signed copy of her book. So you should check it out. So if you're going, I want to hear from you, and maybe get me a photo. Okay, music announcement I did. The text FX one I already showed you. Amazon Astro bot, we spoke about it. The various different chatbots that popping up, I've showed you that. Um, there is a senior analyst global intelligence job at Walt Disney Company. It's on LinkedIn. If any of my analytics world out there, if that's of interest, that's one. Then there is a junior associate responsible AI at ALLAI. It's in Amsterdam. I'll share this again. I'll share the post links shortly on LinkedIn where you're watching this, but I will also put this on my newsletter. And I always say this, I feel like I'm repeating this, then somebody will say, what is your newsletter? So I have to do this every time, guys. So for those of you who know this, who are regulars, who are on my newsletter, bear with me. Thank you to Paria Sarin for collecting all these links and working with me to make the newsletter. So this is what it is. It's called bit.ly Jamthe newsletter, my last name. So this has the archive of the various newsletter that goes out on Monday. So that will have the link of everything that you're seeing right from this week, right? This one. So I did the weekly wed. I did the part 4 of our LLM webinar. It's called LLM building and fine tuning. I did a lot. I barely scratched the surface on fine tuning. Did a lot more about building and getting ready for building and what is out there. And I think I'm going to pause because I've done 4 rounds of the webinars. So I'm considering one thing. So I'd like to give free content on weekly wed. So the 4 webinars, I'm going to put that up and maybe create a certificate course for you. So if you're watching all of it and you've attended it, maybe you can get an LLM certificate from Business School of AI. But one of the things that I'm considering is there's something happening in the LLM world constantly. And for you to get to a comfortable place of understanding the insides of it and finding out your place and what you can do, because even now I'm seeing all these chatbots that are being built. and how do you do reinforcement learning with human feedback, what is RAG, and how do you add data sources, and what are the different options, and how do you do this in a secure way. And there's so many nuances to it, and I didn't even touch upon the UX design of the chatbots, right? And and I saw some article about the context of how much an LLM understands, because LLM understands context. When you're chatting with the chatbot, it knows what you're talking in the same instance. It's continuing on. How do you, is it a long context, short context, comparison of different models out there? So there's a lot that's happening. Tech is moving very fast, and we need to catch up and do this, to make sense of that. So if there is interest, I would like to do some kind of ongoing, not in my weekly Wednesday all the time, or back in Sudha Live, because here I like to bring you opportunities and analysis of the latest in AI space. Weekly Wednesday, we would do a speaker series, so I will resume that after Thanksgiving. But I was wondering, is there appetite for a class? Do you want a whole class on LLMs, and or do you want, maybe like a snippet of learning, like a membership model? I'm just trying to figure this out of how I can give you content in a consumable chunk, but work for it and do this to what you want. So talk to me. If you say there's too much content out there, this is not what you want, I'll go do something else. But I need your feedback if this is of interest. And regardless, these 4 webinars, I'm going to compile this into a class, into chunk it like a course, so that there's learning transition and all that stuff, right? That you build courses that I do, and I will build out a course that you can take, and those who've already done it with me and attended these sessions can check off and jump through that. And the interesting thing is, instead of just giving you content and say, have you watched this, here's a certificate, that sounds pretty lame. One of the things I'm experimenting is, I am going to give you a quiz at the end of the course, and I'm going to make AI make the quiz. Isn't that amazing? The other thing is, I am going to do this week, what I told you as a membership, can we continue on learning chunks? Again, I'm not going to do the talking and just have lessons, right? Instead, can we build chatbots together? Not lame chatbots, not another GPT, but something more substantial that solves a real customer problem, taking real data you have, create the whole UX flow, create the 4 Ps of the chatbot framework to arrive at a problem statement, compare different tools of what works, make business decisions on tokenizations and cost, and figure out the workflow integration. That's just how I'm thinking as my syllabus. I'm literally like thinking aloud with you. If this is of interest, because I've done a live lab course on machine learning with KiwiBot data, I would like to work with some customer data to actually teach a course to build out a functional uh, chatbot that will give ROI for people. So if this is of interest as a student, ping me. I will work on it. If this is somebody who's out in the enterprise figuring out, you want to work with me, we can make do this. We won't show your data live to the world, but you could be the business partner for my students, and we can work on taking the real business application and build that out. With the live lab class, what we did was that, right, we had KiwiBot as a customer, we had San Jose's city as one of the stakeholders, and we had a couple different teams within KiwiBot who talked to the students, and the students went through the learning cycle to figure out how do you take a business problem. And then when there are multiple stakeholders, there are multiple business problems. So how do you narrow it down to use cases for where are the pain points to arrive at a problem statement? And there were multiple different applications that came out from various different students. So that is what happens in reality in enterprise, but I want to get that to this world of LLMs and chatbots, and I would like to build a course on it. That's where my heart is right now. Help me validate if there is a need to do that. Is this value for you as a student? Talk to me if you are working with in your company and trying to figure this out, want to work with me and my students as my business partner on this, right? Business partner, as in for my students, you are a sounding board. They will interview you and help spec this, because at the end of it, you're going to get, and my students are brilliant, I keep saying this all the time, these are not just kids from school. Even kids from school are brilliant these days, and they know a lot more than what I knew when I came out of college. But these are innovators, true innovators. They are finding time in their busy schedule coming to learn, which is extra motivation on their part. And so it's like great value for you. And maybe you can hire somebody from that exercise too. So talk to me if that is of interest to you. So if you're an enterprise wanting to build chatbot with real ROI, ping me. If you're a student or any kind of career professional interested in learning, talk to me. That's also interesting. And then the last thing is we are putting together a bunch of speakers from for our workshop in Global South in AI. And I am happy to announce one of our speakers. We are going to create like a creative for the speakers and announce all of them. But I am going to show you one amazing, amazing person. And I am so wowed that she found the time. She's going to travel, come to New Orleans and talk to us. So I have a couple different people. I don't have permission to share all of that yet. So I'm going to give you one of them. Her name is Kanene Ayo, and she is a renowned AI ethicist expert and diversity consultant. And what is she going to talk to us about? She has built something called DEI GPT. So everybody is building a piece of chatbot and GPT, and this is for if you are in a company and the company wants to add diversity and inclusion but wants AI to help you out in that exercise. That's my understanding of it. I'll be so much smarter after I hear Kanene's session on December 11th. And so if you are at New Orleans, you have to come and say hello to Kanene and listen to her session. And we have a bunch of amazing other speakers too, which I'm going to be share once I get the okay from their PR and whatnot, right? I don't have the permission to share that yet. So this is live in New Orleans on December 11th. If you are at New IPS, this is I think room 211, but we're going to give you a Eventbrite to remember all that. So am I missing anything else? Oh, one last thing. There's a bunch of jobs that I'm going to be sharing. There's a few more fellowship and research associates that is coming. But there is one thing called Vision Dev Camp that I have to share with you. It is unbelievable. Let me close out all the other windows so that it is not distracting me. I'm a very easily distractible person, you know that. So I'm going to close all those other things and I'm going to come find you back here. Okay. And anybody who sends me message on LinkedIn needs to know I do a lot of live. So your message will show up. If I'm on LinkedIn and I'm showing a live, or I'm on LinkedIn, or showing anything from LinkedIn, because I do a lot of share of LinkedIn stuff, your message will show up. So I want you to be aware. Don't send me anything confidential on LinkedIn. And okay, so the Vision Dev Camp is empowering Apple Vision Pro developers. So this is Apple's Vision Pro and a whole new world. It's a non-profit. It's a developer-focused event on creating applications for Apple Vision Pro and Vision OS. And I have been lucky to work with two amazing people who are behind this, and Raven Zachary and Dom Segola. And let me find share the window. Here we go. So these are visionaries who actually created the iOS, the very first iOS dev camp. I have been lucky to host it at PayPal and be part of this. I have seen entrepreneurs come out of it and go change the world and do things. And Dom and Raven are amazing people who know to build out early ecosystems. So they launched with the launch of the iPhone in 2007. They did the first iOS Dev Camp that I was part of. And then I hosted iOS Dev Camp at eBay and PayPal for like several years. So with Vision OS, if they see the value of it and they're coming to build this out, I will route for it. And they have a Discord community if you want to be part of it and participate in it. And they run this dev camp. And this is not an Apple sponsored event, or they have no affiliation with Apple. They are Apple OS enthusiasts. So they see the potential with Vision OS and they say, okay, let's go do this, right? So I will look out for this and I'm here to cheer for them. I will likely go stop by and maybe we'll go build something in that space with Vision OS. So let's see. So With that, I think I've covered everything that I was planning for today. So I'll share the remaining jobs and stuff. There are some call for papers out there too. And I always have like a reading material and all that stuff that I'll put it in the Jamte newsletter. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for hanging around with me. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm not saying that lightly. It means a lot, and it is different time zones and early morning for many of you joining from Asia. And so I really love you for hanging around with me. I feel very grateful for that. So thank you so much. Stay safe. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving here in US. It's I will be cooking that day. So I have a Thanksgiving thing that I do. So we'll see. And but I'm going to be online till the 22nd, and then I go offline for the week. So I hope to stay connected. No Sudha Live, no weekly wed for next week. We will meet back the week of 27th November. And I'm going to be walking around with 48 high schoolers, trying to show them an autonomous vehicle. So please get back to me if you're in Waymo, know anybody in Waymo, because I want to show them a Waymo. Otherwise, we are just going to show them Neuro either on Middlefield or on Castro or somewhere where I can track Waymos and have 48 people with 4 chaperones safely to watch them. And it's all high schoolers. I think I'm going to be sprinting ahead of everybody else every time I see an autonomous vehicle. So I need a chaperone to hold me down. So ping me if if you're in Waymo or Neuro, because I've been chasing neuros, don't know anybody in neuro. So other than that, this idea of this LLM, do the live lab with LLM chatbots that I was talking about, whether you want to learn, whether you want to contribute from your company as a partner to contribute the business problem and work with us, I'm all ears. I love to hear from you. So with that, let me turn off the live stream. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And for everybody else out there, have a wonderful weekend and week ahead. And I will see you the following week, the week of November 27th. Okay, thanks. Ciao.